Welcome everyone to another Thrift Shop CD review. This week's album comes from a group that formed in SoCal back in 1995, made up of bassist and lead vocalist Max Collins, guitarist Jon Siebels, and drummer Nick Myers. Originally they went under the name Yaku, and then Eleventeen was the name of their self-titled EP that they released through RCA Records while they were still in high school. After that release, Nick would actually leave the group and be replaced by the longtime fixture of Eve6, the drummer Tony Fagenson. The name Eve6 actually came a little later, though, when they were just watching an X-Files episode that was titled Eve and that featured a character called Eve6. They liked it and they ran with it. I guess it's kind of similar to their previous name. Either way, they would release their first studio debut teaming up with producer Don Gilmore in '98. This is also a self-titled work, but it's titled Eve6 and not Eleventeen like their past EP was. It came out with a couple of big hits. Inside Out and Leech would pump this up to platinum status with help from a couple of great MTV music videos. Off of the back of that album's success, in 2000 they'd come out with this. The band's second album with Don and through RCA Records. This is Eve6's Horrorscope. It didn't quite sell as well as the previous record, but in my opinion this is an improvement from their debut. This sophomore record still managed to garner gold status and did bring Eve6's sound further into the spotlight. These guys put forth a record that could back an entire rom-com or even fill out the majority of a Big Shiny Tunes album. There's some excellent pop-punk isms and too many alt-rock inspirations to list. These tracks are incredibly fun, so I'm not going to waste any more time blabbing on about them. I'm going to get into some specifics, starting out with the track Rescue. This opener hits with a Savage Garden-like intro, and there's something else really familiar about this one too, but at the same time they take hold of it and own it, making it their own, and making probably one of the catchiest cuts on this whole record. It just feels like the year 2000. It's got even this corny, overtuned verse that completes the whole nostalgia trip on this just party rockin' number. Rescue is a terribly fun track. Promise keeps the Cali rock vibe. It's got a cruisin' instrumental that builds into another rockin' catchy as hell chorus. It feels a bit like an All-American Rejects hit. In terms of a film soundtrack, this would be the introduction and kind of character building track. With a similar sound but a bit more of a desperate energy, On the Roof Again is where the protagonist spends most of the time during this song, threatening to jump off of it due to a heartbreak. I actually learned a new word from this song reading the lyrics. It's copacetic, and it means in excellent order. A word I'm surprised my mom hadn't taught me yet, but maybe she did. I just wasn't listening. I'm sorry, Mom. The context that word comes into this song is this guy moves out of his stepdad's place to live with a girl, and things were copacetic until she found him cheating on her, and then shit went bad. He's on the roof again, and his friends have to come try to talk him down. The way they do so manages to keep the song and the context light with this lewd little pre-chorus. Her heinous highness broke your heart. Hey man, now try to quit your crying. I know she broke your heart, but try to come down. Now for Sunset Strip Bitch, which is all about someone who delusionally pursues fame at the cost of looking like a total tool. They highlight the superficiality with the closing lines. This outfit set me back, 2 paychecks and a Cadillac. My horoscope today said things would go my way. I think I mangled it a bit, but you get the picture. Slowing down for a essential Eve6 piece. Here's to the Night is the song that was probably played at every graduation ceremony for at least 5 years after this song's release. It's softer, reminiscent, probably as formulaic as these guys get with lyrics or otherwise, but hey, it does the trick. If you want to just sway back and forth and raise a glass to celebrate the times you had together, it's corny, but you gotta love it. Then straight back into action with Amphetamines. It's got a Blink-182 guitar riff, good Charlotte-esque vocals, and a blood-pumping pace. It's catchy about a relationship that's already over, but you feel compelled to call and check in on, whether it's out of fear of them not doing so well or compassion. Either way, it's a pretty nice sentiment for a track titled Amphetamine. Enemy is a song that talks about the crushing uncertainty, the unbearable waiting for the results of an HIV test. In the end, it does turn out alright. The lyrics say he's taken a ride to meet an enemy and end all the madness, and now he knows he'll be just fine. Then the most Blink-182 track, titled Nocturnal. This is that rock bopper that'll have you nodding your head and stomping your foot throughout, followed up by Jetpack, which is a slower, more ballad-esque number about a guy that all the girls like and are always chasing after, but he keeps running away because he's actually more interested in his best friend than the girls. A pretty endearing Cali rock number. No complaints here. Is the track Nightmare about masturbation? Some kind of deviancy, maybe? It definitely feels more rushed and less polished than the rest of the songs here. I'd be curious to know what your interpretation of this song is. Bang has a bunch of references to some pop names that maybe at the time would make sense, but I'm lost on what these names mean at all for the most part. Either way, though, the narrative still feels cohesive, with it being a song about wanting to go out there, put yourself out there, find a partner, and then just like that you find them. It's a little bit more easy than they imagined. It's got some great energy and some more great hooks. The closing number, Girl Eyes, is so chock full of one-liners trying to convince you to have that drunken one-night stand. Foresight is so often blind, and guilty is really a choice and a chore. It's good to be bad if it's better than bored. Just another satisfying alt-rock number that rolls the credits on this awesome sophomore record. It could be the backtrack to like a PG-13 Kick-Ass, maybe. Some cool 2000s references thrown in there. I think it would be a great flick that I would have a lot of fun watching. I was fortunate enough to actually get not only a copy of Horrorscope, but in a different CD that I picked up right around the same time. Their debut was sitting right there. I couldn't believe it. Lucky me. I like the comic book analogy because they've drawn it out for me right here. It really produces a really cool image in my mind while I'm watching it. They've got their cards here that lays them out. It's just a fun liner notes setup. I dig it a lot. Probably due to my many listens, this is definitely my favorite Eve6 album. I like the debut that I got. Sure, it's got a couple solid hits and it may have outsold this, but I think working with the same producer, they've ironed out a bunch of the kinks and created just a smooth, flowing alt-rock ripper. Their third album is rawer, rougher, and maintains a consistent vibe throughout, but it doesn't have the pop that these first two albums, leading it to being their worst-selling album and having them dropped by their label, breaking up the whole band in the process. Getting back together, though, with Don Gilmore in 2012, they produced and released their fourth record, Speak in Code. In 2018, Tony Fagenson, the longtime drummer, departed from the group, leaving them to do their 20th anniversary tour, their debut album with the drummer of Max's other group, Fitness. That guy's name is Ben Hilsinger. Recently, when Collins was asked about new Eve6 material, he stated that his creativity for music is going into his new project, Fitness. A new Eve6 album is not something that you're looking forward to any time in the near future, but he says maybe a single or something would be cool. So don't cross your fingers for any Eve6 materials, but maybe check out Fitness's debut, Karate, that came out back in 2018 as well. What are your best memories and experiences you've had backed by these pop rockers? Let me know with a comment down below, and if you're this deep in the video, make sure you've left a like and you're subscribed for next week's Thrift Shop album review. Like Jessica Rabbit, she collects bad habits. She gets her drinks for free. Elevated vixen stole Cupid's arrow and came to rescue me in the blink of an eyelid. My little girl, I could see that she'd come to rescue me. She's gonna rescue me.